Hello and welcome to the Walking Dead Definitive Series developer commentary track for Season 2. My name is Kent Muedel, creative director final season and cinematic artist on Season 2, and I am joined by...
Dennis Lennart, who was director, and I think I had an associate creative director title at the end. That wasn't really a real title at the studio
I
yet.
saw 6 or 7.
You appear in the credits a few times.
And I am Melissa Hutchison, voice of Clementine.
And I'm Gavin Hammond. I'm the voice of Kenny.
And I'm Julian Kwasniewski, and I am the voice director.
Man.
Like, what? And I also am the
Got all
voice
the
of
words?
Winston. And
That's
I
an
don't,
important
Yes.
credit.
And I don't necessarily agree with his child rearing skills.
Rearing is a creative adjective.
Yeah.
What do you
Isn't
All
it,
right.
though?
seem to be doing?
I don't really agree with his child raising skills
Monitoring.
of my babysitting.
And we are here to play the final episode of Season 2. So strap in. It's going to be a dark one.
There's this weird blooper of AJ in little swaddle, and then the voice actor was like mapped, or the voice files were mapped to the wrong actor in the engine, and so every time Kenny was talking, so it's like, Gavin, you're saying lines, and the
Yeah,
baby's
yeah.
mouth was moving and
that's
animating. It was the
fantastic.
creepiest weird thing.
I want to see that.
Got it.
That sounds amazing.
Dennis
Oh
has
yeah,
everything.
this intro.
Ooh, that's
Ooh,
right.
yeah.
Clem's down. She's up.
I remember this. Yeah, so I guess the previous episode ended with the shootout. Now we're showing the results.
Luke.
Scott Porter, ladies
Let
and
go,
gentlemen.
Luke.
And that wall
Where's
is the
Orville?
wall that I think of when we do those nonverbals. That's the wall that you're crouched under breathing.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's it.
Oh, no.
Not the baby.
Look, Clem's already, like, taking
Crawl
care of
to the
AJ.
baby. We did get bullet hits on the ground. I couldn't remember if that effect actually ever came in. Sweet.
Oh. Well, what does it look like I'm doing?
Trying to get to the baby.
There's still some CPR going on back there.
There you
It's
go.
funny, like, this is still, the urgency of walkers is still very much alive.
So yeah, got some Luke here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Porter, hell of a guy.
Scott,
Good beatboxer.
who is a,
Really
yeah,
He is.
he's
really
an-
good at
singer.
and he's a
Yeah.
big fan of Kid Beyond. And he said
Who
beatboxing was, I forget what he said. It's how he got himself through school or something. He
Yeah.
was a beatboxer. But he's also a total gamer.
Is huge.
And
Football player too.
football,
Yeah.
and really
What does he not
great,
do?
Like, well, what's great is that he
really.
does not tap
Seriously,
dance.
what doesn't he do?
He does not tap dance.
So perfect.
I bet
You
he
should
could.
see him on the trampoline, though.
That's fine.
No, he is.
He was cast really quickly, right? Didn't that whole thing come together in like a week?
Because what happened was,
Weren't
it
you
did
making
come together
selects
quickly.
when that came together quickly?
We were, it happened quickly. This was kind of the season that ushered in more celebrity talent, and which comes with its own kind of. I mean, we dealt with some of it on Thrones and on Back to the Future, obviously.
Well, it was interesting, too, because in this season, it kind of matched where Clementine was at. I basically didn't meet 90% of the cast in this season, except for, you
Right.
know, Omid,
It was-
Kenny.
yeah.
These are actors I've worked with.
And
So
we
it was
didn't
kind
work
of
together on
interesting.
that.
And we were
Like,
all
we
down in
never
LA.
worked together. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so it was an interesting
Unless I was recording. I was
reflection.
recording in Fairfax.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I was still in at Studio George
Yeah.
in Fairfax as well.
I didn't meet Scott until after the fact.
So yeah, that dynamic just from season 1 of being like this close-knit family to
Well, even then, I mean, we didn't meet. Like, I didn't know Sissy until I think after we had wrapped.
right.
I didn't meet Dave until that was that last session.
It's
when we
true.
went to Thai food.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Fairfax.
We talked about it
just
today.
talked about
And that was the
that.
time.
And it was-
there's that great photo.
It turns out
that Owen
that
took.
Dave said he was and I believe him, he initiated that because he wanted to meet everyone else.
Sure. Yeah. I think it
Yeah.
came through you or Jory. That was
Yeah,
like,
and then we had-
we're gonna do this afterward.
Yeah, that was fun.
Right. Well,
we
I
had
wanted to
good
meet
Thai
Michael
food.
Madsen, but
Yeah.
Yeah, what would happen
I didn't
there?
have that phone call of, hey, let's go get some Thai,
that
man.
all about?
I
Yeah,
didn't have that connection.
Let's go do some shots.
Hey man, I hit you with a sledgehammer or a crowbar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched.
He was great because you just never know. You never know. Like the games are still kind of second fiddle to not anymore, but back then it was still like what is this little game?
Is it
And-
beneath me?
Yeah, totally. Can I do this? And he just did it. It was great.
Well, yeah, it was kind of in that beginning phase of,
Yeah.
of celebrities
Yeah.
doing voice acting, well, not in general, but for games.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure.
Season 1 had won 85 or something Game of
Over
the Year
100.
awards.
What
Sorry,
is
not
this?
to be
Over
precise.
100?
Over 100.
It was
I'll tell you.
it was
It was
100,
counting.
103.
Making up the number and throwing it out there. But yeah, I mean, so the game had done well.
Yeah, that's true.
And Telltale was one of the first real narrative pushers. where
Absolutely. And it
the
was
audition
kind of like
felt so different.
yeah, that was season 2 was definitely the fruits of season 1
Of your labor.
success.
Yeah. He did an amazing job as Carver.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Until I killed him.
and Clem watched. My Clem, at least.
You weren't supposed to watch.
Well,
I
I
told you not
did.
to. God damn it. Season 1 had won 85 or something Game of
Over
the Year
100.
awards.
What
Sorry,
is
not
this?
to be
Over
precise.
100?
Over 100.
It was
I'll tell
it
you.
was
He's
100,
counting.
it was
Making up
103.
the number and throwing it out there. But yeah, I mean, so the game had done well.
Yeah, that's true.
And Telltale was one of the first real narrative pushers. where
Absolutely. And it
The
was
audition
kind of like
felt so different.
yeah, that was season 2 was definitely the fruits of season 1 success.
Yeah. He did an amazing job as Carver.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Until I killed him.
and Clem watched. My Clem, at least.
You weren't supposed to watch.
Well,
I told you
did.
not to.
It's okay.
There's going to be some darkness in the commentary for this season.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
It's a
darker.
bit. It's a bit of a dark game.
Yeah, it is. Started off right and say one of the problems with this season, from a development standpoint, was season 1 was dark, but there was hope at the end. And in this season, we sort of lost that.
Back.
Yeah, no, and we got knocked for it rightfully. Like there was sort of a internal idea that like everything needed to go darker and more messed up, and more people needed to die than season 1, and it kind of pushed everything into a really dark, unforgiving place. And
Well, and coming off of, I mean, just with the success of season 1, yeah, it's kind of like when you do something that's so off the charts phenomenal, doing a second act is always, there's more pressure.
Yeah.
It's probably was way more intense and stressful, I imagine, to
For
put
you.
it together. For you, I
Well,
know, right? We have
yeah,
the easy
yeah.
part. It was like, wow, the script is awesome. Thanks, guys. Wee.
It's your decision.
thanks, Julian. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of gun
Aaron.
pointing scenes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We do need
right.
the food. Good call.
They haven't heard of the benefits of fasting.
Aaron was also
They don't follow
Molly
this.
in season 1,
She was.
episode
yeah.
4. Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's been in.
And then she
a lot
was
of
in
games.
Wolf, obviously.
Yep.
Yep.
You stay out of this. You're the reason these fuckers came after us in the first place.
So Gavin coming back for season 2.
It's the best day of my life.
What was it like coming back?
No, so I was curious, and originally I think that they had pitched that Kenny would be the Carver character, that he was going to go real dark and be real awful. He'd be the big bad. I was just excited, to have a job.
Yeah.
It's like, woo, keep going. No, it was great to come back. I like the way that his arc worked out. I mean, I would have been fine if he had been the big bad. To me, it's just a challenge to take the character someplace
Yeah,
else.
totally.
But I mean, it's all you guys writing it, So it's like as long as the words are on the page, it's like my job's just to get them off of there.
Well, and we were talking about that earlier about how, like, Fenoy was crying, Melissa was crying, Nikki Rapp was crying after Larry got killed, and she was, tweaked for a couple hours after that session. And then there was one where you were just losing it in there, and then take was over, and we're like, All right, you good? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
fine.
just act. You're like,
What else we gotta do?
I'm just acting.
Yeah, it's the faucet. I turned the faucet off.
It was so
He
great.
goes
And
goes
and
home
the-
and sits in the dark
water
in fetal
stops flowing.
position, like, oh god.
What I'm saying is, I'm here to try to make this work. If I get a cookie for that, then awesome. All I can do is promise you I won't abandon you again. Which, to be fair, I've never done before. Even though I probably should have. A few times now.
You don't gotta point the gun at him the whole time.
You forget what we just went through?
He ain't going anywhere, Kenny. No need to get your arms. I'm worried about Kenny. He's in a dark place. We gotta keep an eye on him. Everything he's been through. He's lost.
He'll be okay. I've known him a while.
Well, it's all starting to pile up. It's weighing on him. Everyone has a breaking point. You're the only one that he trusts. That he really trusts. That means you're the one that's gonna have to pull him back. He's counting on you. If we're really going to make this work, we're all counting on you.
I'll do my best.
I know.
Come on, slowpokes. Wait up! Wait. We need to stop.
No, I'm fine. Hey, I just need a second. Sorry, I just put more weight on it than I should have. All right, wait there. Hey, what I said?
That character with the glasses, Arvo,
Orville.
was named
Orville.
after, I believe, Steve McManus's uncle or something, who is he's one of the designers on the
Oh,
season.
that's funny. I didn't know that.
Why isn't he here? We need Steven.
Damn it. So sad. The original designed ending for this was. I can say this now, probably, maybe.
I
Kenny
would
versus
say.
Luke.
Yeah.
That was the finale.
Oh.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a whole lot of Team Luke versus Team Kenny, and I was
Right.
like, dude, I'm reading the words on the page and people telling me to kill myself, and I'm like, I don't know.
I know, man.
He's a really
Well-
nice guy. We seem like we're friends.
There was so much attention to, like, microscopic attention to a lot
Sure.
of the content, and I did that. What was my guy's name? Who was the guy that
You were all
that-
the
that
guys.
fights with Clem in the woods?
Dion,
No,
Chad, Wesley,
no. Keep going, man.
Brian.
It's like
Was it Kent?
no, yeah, totally.
Woody?
Oh my God! Wow, this is great.
But I guess going back to the first episode of this season.
I love that you're driving this bus.
Yeah, starting off, obviously season 1 ends with Clementine off on her own. From the middle of at least season 1, there was talk of, oh man, it'd be really cool to have a playable Clementine in season 2. But it always was just we'll see how the game does. We don't know if anyone's even gonna like respond well yet. Obviously they did, and that came to be a real thing, which was super exciting. And the original sort of intention was taking Clementine. Obviously, she'd sort of like built a family dynamic with these characters in season 1. That was stripped of her. And now it was bringing her to a new family. Luke was sort of designed to be the like cool, like brother, older brother type figure
Uncle.
who,
Cool
uncle, there you go,
uncle.
cool uncle.
Uncle Luke.
Who you would get invested in and just be like, okay, like I can stick with this guy and keep Clementine safe. Because weirdly, a lot of people would play season 2 and would tell us that they still had like a little bit of Lee in them. And they were like, even though
Right.
I'm directly controlling Clementine, I feel like I'm kind of playing Lee.
Well, that
Right.
was a
through
super
her, which was
traumatic
crazy.
ending, and people
Yeah.
Big
that was
time.
like
Yeah.
destroyed people. The loss of Lee. So
That was,
that's
easily the moment
had
that
to
turned
reflect
people,
into
made
to
them
season
cry.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making grown men cry.
Yeah.
That's the goal. No. So yeah, the idea was basically setting up a dynamic where you really get to like Luke and then Kenny shows back up. who
Right.
we knew from season 1,
How
every
y'all
person
doing?
loved Kenny.
Right.
Just like everyone loves Gavin. It's just one of those
Yeah.
universal things.
They do.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it just happens. And so it was building to the finale fight in episode 5 being between Luke and Kenny, and you basically have to
yeah.
choose between like old friends and new friends. Like in episode 2,
That makes all
there's a
kinds of
scene where you're
sense.
sitting down at the table. Either you sit with Luke
Yeah.
and his sort of new friends, or like Kenny, and you're making choices early on, building to that.
Yeah.
Luke's feeling bad about what happened.
What?
Really?
But it's not your fault. Bad things happen and you can't control it all the time.
She's right. You don't go blaming yourself for this.
All right. Can we drop it? I'm fine. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Clem, go over and see if you can change the bandages on Kenny's wound. I offered, but I don't think he was comfortable with me doing it. But you know him better than I do. Maybe he'll let you do it.
Okay.
That a girl. That's gonna sting, but only for a second. It's gonna clean it.
Oh, I know what it does. It's gonna suck.
It's gotta get done.
Go on, you can do it.
I was thinking we'd go with Alvin Jr. What do you think? Rebecca mentioned she'd like to name him Alvin if it was a boy. I mean, Rebecca was so out of it, she hadn't settled on her name.
I think his parents would have liked that.
Yeah, me too. Alvin Jr. it is. You like that? Well, I think AJ approves. What do you got?
The success of season 1 brought a lot of new pressures to the studio. And one of the sort of core points of feedback is we had people who had never played Telltale games before being into it, but then going, oh, these are like choose your own adventure. Shouldn't I have multiple endings? Isn't that the point of these games?
Right.
So there was sort of a studio-wide directive to take what this was going to be and turn it into a multi-ending branch thing. And sort of along the way, some of the pieces of like Luke dying off earlier and Jane being introduced and being a bigger role to sort of try and fill that gap. But it never quite gets there because it wasn't set up from the beginning. It was a thing that sort of evolved during the course of production. That said, there's people who still point to this ending and go, oh, it's really cool that it pays off kind of how you choose, and there's 5 different endings
Right.
of states that can come out.
5.
But it's
5.
hard.
That was crazy.
It is crazy.
I mean,
But
that
from a
is
storytelling
crazy.
perspective, it's hard to make, especially when you're trying to retrofit in the end, make
Sure.
5 like epic feeling
Which
endings.
we were
It's-
retrofitting almost from day one, where we would
Yeah.
record and then like
Totally.
we would have another session to tweak.
There's a lot of pickups
change
on
things.
this
and-
season.
So
yeah.
you're whispering now.
Yeah, Julian would be like, "Okay, so you're angry in this one."
You're like,
and then,
"Didn't I-
And
didn't
then
I
you're not
know-
angry.
didn't I do
and I'm
this
like,
already?"
I'm pretty sure we did this line already, and you're like, "No, I don't.
Let's
think,
just get it.
let's just get it anyway,
Or
Yeah, oh, I
Pierre,
remember those,
Pierre's
yeah.
great line, just to have it.
Yep.
just to have
Just
it."
to have it.
For
And
safe.
Which is
often that was
which
why.
is like voice director for you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
We want you to do it this way.
Or
fine.
we know that when we go back to the office, things
Yeah.
might change, and we just want to be covered.
Ew,
People that-
no.
Oh wait, I have to use
Don't touch
I have
it.
to use this mechanic.
Don't touch it.
Winston. It was Winston.
Winston. I
Um,
said Wilson. That
yeah,
was
it was
close enough. Come on.
So close. So close.
So
You should have gotten it from
there
him.
was so much things were in motion. Oh, that's really brutal.
That looks fantastic.
be pretty when this heals.
It was really cool to step into, to what it takes to be a playable character.
Yeah.
I mean, just being a secondary character for both of us in season 1, you still are
It's so
recording
easy.
so much. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was a whole new ballgame
Yeah.
for me to like.
All the
go in and-
look-ats and,
Yeah,
and
you have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make
and the
those
look-ats are
choices.
tricky. They seem so easy. You're like, well, this tree could come in handy, whatever. But
Yeah.
they can't sound.
these matches might come in handy.
Might want to save this for later. You know, what I mean, just
Yeah.
and it's a game. It has
Yeah.
to be in there, but it can't be this like.
It has to feel
It
organic.
has to feel good.
And it's a weird thing, you're right, because if you have to sound interested by it,
Right.
Because a lot of those things
And she's
are
not
useful
interested
in the
by
game.
anything.
They are usually. And usually you have 10 minutes left in the session, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, the look
Oh,
at
you know what else we need is these 900 lines.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
You were great at that. He would just go through, like, he'd record 50 lines in a row, and he's like, I got it, dude.
That's
fine.
what Gavin do.
It's fine. I
Cut
do.
me loose.
Not just
No,
talk
please,
about
please
it.
shut up.
So in this, just back to that in the transition, it's pretty funny because when I got the call, like, okay, Clem's gonna be the playable character, like, how woohoo, super exciting. But there was also this like weird pressure. I think it was Mark Darren. I don't know who sent me the email, but it was like, we need to get the voice down. This is really
Yeah.
important that we transition it. Even though she's only like, 9 or 10 now, she's actually more like a badass 16-year-old. And it was so difficult for me.
Yeah.
And I think I sent him like 17 different takes of what I thought the voice would be. And I was really stressing out about it. And it's so funny because it just goes from right here to literally right there. But just getting to that stressed me the fuck out.
It took you
I
7
was
months.
like, they're gonna recast me. I was so stressed out because there was this whole like.
They never would have
Well, I
recast you.
know, but
We
there
didn't
was
get that far into the recast.
There was that. Yeah. We tried. It just didn't work
so
out.
that's the backstory.
But it was interesting because I literally sent like 17 different.
Yeah.
takes
I remember
of what
you
Clem
freaking
would
out.
maybe.
Yeah, I remember you were.
Sound like.
We were
I was
texting back
tripping.
and forth about this.
But
Yeah,
those
like,
are
what
the
do they want?
subtleties, though. That's exactly the thing that makes all the different inflections so important. Is that, like the look-ats too, and just what you just did there. When you hear that, you just think, oh, it's just 6%. But
I
To be able
stressed.
to
be able to do that,
though,
6%.
that's a
Right.
skill.
it's a skill.
Well, once we
Totally.
got there though, and once I heard it, and I think I even sent that take, I'm like, oh, well, there it is, right there. But
Yeah.
it was just like, ugh. I felt that pressure too of like, oh God, season 1 was so amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything has to be, It was really an art of letting go. At one point, I was like, I just got to let go.
Yeah.
As far as just the studio at this point in time, that was a global thing, right?
Yeah,
Coming
no
off the
question.
success
Oh,
of season
totally,
1
man.
was
Massive for everybody.
Yeah, it was good in some ways in that there's sort of more resources devoted and you're allowed to be branchier in certain areas. So there was things that were good about it, and then there was also
Yeah.
things that were
The
really rough
scrutiny.
about it, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and we started working on multiple things at once.
Oh,
In fact, season 2, I was working on Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
And you would be in there for D and Dumb, and then I'm like, "Can you just stick around for Kenny?" And
Oh, yeah.
you know, it was
Yeah.
like,
I guess I can.
And by the way, for those who don't know, well, all of you in this room do, obviously, but Gavin was Beast and I was Beauty. So we,
Oh yeah.
so
I-
we would
that I did
have
know. I
these
did know
sessions
that.
as Kenny and Clem, and then
yeah, that was
getting
awesome.
to be.
Really good.
But that
and
was
D
that was
and Dumb.
fun.
Yeah, you had a good.
I was D
Yeah, you
and
were.
Dumb, and I was Beast.
Oh, those recording sessions were pretty awesome though, because I would go from like the world of dark doom and despair of The Walking Dead,
Yeah,
and then
top of
getting
the morning
to
to ya.
play. It was just like this,
I get
I
to
mean,
be
not
a
that the
frog
Wolf of
with a British accent.
I know,
Perfect.
poor Toad. I mean, not like it was a light-hearted
I
game
know.
by any means, but it was just different. It
more
was noir.
lighthearted.
More lighthearted, yeah.
Yeah.
Such a fun game to work on. Those were fun sessions.
Luke.
Yeah, man. Happy birthday.
So, how old are you now?
I am 27 years old.
That's pretty old.
Sure as hell feel a lot older.
Don't even start with that shit.
Got out of college 5 years ago. Feels like a million years. At least I don't have to worry about paying off them student loans.
I hear that. I'm sure there's some asshole sitting on that paperwork, waiting to collect.
And what did you study?
Majored in art history.
That's cool.
Sounds like you majored in working in a coffee shop.
Pretty much.
Oh, stop it.
You get a minor in agriculture. Keep the old man happy.
Oh, I almost forgot. We're saving it for a special occasion. All it being your birthday and all. Figure this is as good a time as any.
Drink the rum.
No, drink
Yeah.
it.
No, this is Pierre couldn't be here today, but he helped and write a lot
We
of
love him.
great stuff. And this was, I feel like, one of the moments. This scene was something that was kind of missing from the rest of the season.
Oh, very.
Yeah, and so it's great. I really
Downtime,
like the scene a lot. Like, it
character
just-
building.
Yeah, and people are sort of enjoying each other's company and not just trying to murder each other.
Yeah.
And they're also not worried about what's outside.
Kenny looks like he still wants to murder
Yeah,
somebody.
secretly.
Kenny.
That's
But
just how
he's
Kenny
willing
looks.
to let bygones be bygones for now.
He's secretly thinking, I'm gonna have a head-to-head with Luke at the end. Oh no, I'm gonna die.
I remember that.
I'm gonna stab him
I
in the
remember
fucking eye. Sorry, can we swear on this thing?
Oh yeah.
Hello, have you not
I
been
guess so.
listening to me for the last?
Absolutely.
No,
In
not
fact,
even
swear
a little
more
bit.
than you were going to.
Okay, cool.
Just be B, Kenny.
Yeah, just be him.
I've been choosing lines for the definitive edition, and then Kenny has that one iconic fuck
Oh,
that he does
so
like
good.
when they
That
find
was
like
fun.
the thing blocking the road. I'm
It was
putting
a
that
truck. It was like a
was like a
tanker
tanker truck
that
hanging
fell
that
over the
blocked
edge
the
of the
train.
bridge. Yeah,
in. Yeah, and he just has
'Cause
utter
that
despair
happens.
at that moment.
in the apocalypse, weird shit happens all the time.
Weird driving in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's true.
Fire's real nice. Plenty of room if you want to get warm.
Maybe in a bit.
I didn't expect her to come back. Just when I thought I got her figured out, she up and surprises.
It's a good thing. You saved our ass.
I know. I just don't know what she's getting at all this.
I'm not sure about her anymore.
Well, she helped us back there. So that puts her as okay in my book.
Well, it ain't no secret how you feel. Oh, come on. I'm just teasing.
It was stupid.
I understand. She's a pretty girl. Once you get past all the dirt and guts.
I don't know. Guess I just wanted to forget about all this shit for like 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Man, that's longer than I'd last at this point.
Hey,
All right, it wasn't 10 minutes.
come on. We got a little one around.
Sorry. Forget I said anything.
I know what you guys are talking about.
I certainly hope not.
You're talking about kissing stuff.
Yeah. Yes, that is exactly it.
Was there any kissing?
You shut your mouth right now. The both of you. Maybe she came back for you.
Could be.
At some point, that backpack was made.
I
Oh,
have,
There was like
I
a
have
prop of
one.
that.
I have one.
I
Do
have
you?
one.
Yeah, Job sent us
Oh,
that.
I was
that's
gonna say
so
Job
great.
and
One
Laura
of
had
the
them.
excellent
and they were always,
things.
Yeah.
And it was full of like
It had the duck.
all
it
of the
had
games.
Clem's drawing of like
Yeah.
Duck and Kenny
and had like
and
physical copies of all of the
of
seasons.
the
Oh, wow.
seasons.
How
it
did
had
we
the
get
picture
those?
of Lee.
All I got was a hat.
Do you want the backpack?
No, it's okay. I think so.
They made Clem backpacks.
feel
Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing?
Yeah.
I will take a
I did
picture
no
and
idea.
send it to you guys.
Okay,
Oh my god!
okay.
Why did they give them to us?
You're like,
I'm not questioning it. I'm
might
going
not
with
have,
it.
I shouldn't have mentioned it.
I'm very grateful.
thing I got.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a bunch of weird semi-exclusive swag items made within Telltale. I remember like way after the fact, I got one of those tiny Buffkin statues.
Oh,
wow.
But like they were
Yeah.
clearly not.
I
They were
didn't
clearly
get one
not
of
for
those.
important people. Like not. They're only for important people. At first.
There was like 5 of them.
And I know,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And at one point, Job was just like, "Hey, did you like direct an episode of Wolf?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like,
Here.
"Oh, here's this Buffkin statue."
Here,
All right,
take this thing.
Cool.
Take this trinket I had made.
Yeah, I just had one in the closet, the weird swag closet. Most of the stuff I have is from the infamous day of the fire sale.
Oh yeah, that
When
was a
suddenly,
great game.
Oh, man.
we had the Narnia at the old office,
Yeah.
which was like an asbestos nightmare.
Yeah.
And
It was.
one day the city was coming to look at us or something because we weren't
Uh-oh.
supposed to be in there at all.
Get rid of it.
And they were like, everyone
Everything
take all.
must go.
Literally, that's what happened. They said, take all this stuff, and I've like everyone just grabbed like old games and Sam and Max soundtracks. I have a Trogdor poster still hanging in my
nice.
room.
I
from
feel
that
like
day.
people almost got trampled.
The
It was a weird, like
Burninator.
the email went
It was
out of like
crazy, yeah.
everyone go to Narnia now. There's free stuff, and
Just
like
take all
everybody
the
got up to
swag.
their desks, and then other people who didn't get the email were watching everyone else run in the other direction, and
they
we're
just
just like, I
started
want
running?
whatever that is.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
yeah.
There
Or-
must be nachos or pizza
Or
somewhere.
I want to run from what they're running from.
Yeah. I wouldn't have expected a bottle to last this long. It's probably been a while for everyone.
Will it work?
That depends. What is it?
It's rum.
Probably. I don't know. It might be awkward. I wasn't expecting to, you know.
Why? Because you made it with Luke?
What does that even mean? What's the it?
You know. Yeah, because I made it with Luke.
It's not a big deal.
Why does this feel like I'm signing a contract or something?
I really like this
This is
scene.
a great scene, yeah.
Are you gonna have her drink the rum or what?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, thank you. And
I chose the I wanted drink option earlier, and I was denied by Kenny, so I'm
Well,
totally going for that bottle.
Don't you drink.
I selfishly choose those because I know that people who play it aren't going to do it because they're like, no, Clem. You know, they're very protective of Clem.
She's too small.
So I want to hear those
She's not
selfishly.
ready.
Yeah.
I take the drag of the cigarette. You know, I do all the things that are not.
Man, if you think you might die any second, I think you can
Yeah.
indulge in a few vices.
I mean, she is like 10. That's,
Right.
it's a
Going
little,
on
it's
28.
a little
It's
much.
fine.
For me,
It's the
again, it's just I
apocalypse.
just want to hear the audio and what was chosen.
Drink a whole bottle of this really spicy, sweet liquor. Oh, what was its name? I was dumb. Earthquake or something.
Sounds like you were a bad kid.
I guess I was. At the bottom of the bottle, there were these sugar crystals, and I got it in my head that I really wanted to eat a couple. So I got the bright idea to smash it on my parents' dining room floor to get at them. And it shattered into 1,000 pieces all over the dining room. And I proceeded to eat what I thought was sugar candy.
Wow, that's really stupid.
Yeah, Clem. I was drunk. The problem with glass is it looks a lot like sugar crystals.
That's never really been a problem for me.
Keep it that way. My sister found me, drunk, blood pouring out of my mouth. Jamie thought I was dying, so she called 911. They pumped my stomach.
Maybe you shouldn't be drinking.
You're not the first one to tell me that. I haven't thought about that in a long time. I guess a deal's a deal. Here. That guy needs a drink more than any of us. Time to not make it weird.
Want to sit here?
No, that's... I'm fine.
Oh, yeah, okay. Wherever you like.
Oh, here we
we
go.
go.
Don't you fucking do it.
You jut.
Don't you do it.
Ken, I know you're a big alcoholic, but what if you just took a big swig of this rum? Oh, I guess not. He just looked at me. Sorry, I was talking and not paying attention to those cutscenes. I don't actually know what my objective
judging.
is.
Weirdly, we're talking about nonverbals being a
Yeah.
thing, and I remember in episode 1 of season 2, there's a moment where you think Clem is at her darkest when she sort of gets separated from Krista and she's off on her own, and there's just
Right.
walkers all around before she gets saved, and she's just like sitting there against a rock,
Yeah.
just like breathing. And I remember we were doing a bunch of takes of that because it was sort of like at the time we'd been sort of blocking it out, and it's like I knew it was going to be like a 45-second thing, and it was just like, okay, so let's start your breathing here
Yeah.
and then work down to this point. And I remember weirdly thinking like we're doing all this for just some nonverbal stuff that usually would just be a random like
Totally.
oh yeah, let's get all these 100 things in
Totally.
the last 5
Right.
minutes.
Let's just
But-
cover it.
But it was good, and I
Just to
actually
make
really
sure
like that
we
moment.
have it.
Just to have it.
Oh, look at little worm baby AJ.
Don't worry, I got the baby.
Yeah, the
He's literally a pea in a pod.
glowworm.
I think I remember, I wasn't here for the beginning of this commentary session, but I worked on that first bit where you're crawling toward AJ in the snow. And I think you had to like wiggle harder so we could see him.
Oh
Yeah, I
Because if you can't see his
noticed that
face, he's like, you're
wiggling.
like, what is
No,
this
he
object?
just
that's
could
funny.
very well
It's
be
a pile of
just
clothing.
some rubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I want that rubble? Oh, it's making noise.
Oh, it's a baby rubble.
It demands attention. Yeah, no, these moments are really good. This is some of the better stuff in the season. I like it.
You need this scene because then
Yeah.
all the death after that then happens.
And these moments were what made the game different.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know, they
Yeah.
were different than other
Exactly. It's
point and
not
shoots.
action. Yeah.
You know, this is just about dialogue and getting through narrative.
Yeah, I feel like in season 1 there's a lot more freedom of like write a thing and let's record it and then feel it out and tweak what we need to.
And then re-record it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Or
feel like
re-record parts of it. I mean, it was riffing. Yeah.
the season 2 stuff was definitely more of a like looking at each tiny moment
Yeah.
and sort of there's just a lot more emphasis on like the structure of things
Totally.
and sort of like where's the button presses and good intentions behind a lot of it, but it can make scenes like this harder to get through, and so it's
Right.
good when they do because you feel like a breath of fresh air that
Right.
you sort of desperately need.
Yeah, okay.
Jane, you don't have to justify that with your response.
I find it's best.
Kind of want to talk about episode 1 a little bit more of this season.
Yeah.
Kind of start at the
Yeah.
beginning. So
Dennis,
it's
you
like
go.
finding Clementine, being on her own, and the goal of this season was to try and get her to a place where she felt like she was. You'd sort of helped her become more responsible. You did that as Lee,
Right.
as kind of a parent in season 1, and now directly controlling her, sort of getting her ready for the next
To be a grown-ass
step.
lady.
Yeah, there you go. And weirdly, the still not bitten line from episode 1 was on the chopping block.
What?
Yeah.
Many
Oh, I heard
times.
that, I
We
heard
had to
that.
keep fighting to keep it in.
Oh my
Because it was
God.
just seen as like, no, she'll get there in
you
episode
fought the
5.
good
And it was
fight.
like, no, you gotta that was a big one. Where the idea was show just a flash of what she will become someone.
Right.
Someday,
Yeah.
you know.
Still not bitten.
Yeah, and we named
Yeah,
the team
awesome.
after that line because it's so iconic.
Well,
So
that
iconic.
moment
It
was.
makes sense, too.
Yeah, I mean that was the moment where the whole
we hadn't quite been bitten, that team.
like first 30 minutes of that episode. I mean, there was just you didn't know. It was all like what happened to Krista, these
Yeah.
Winston,
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
bad
That
guys.
bastard.
Clem with
Sacrilegious.
Sam the dog, but then it's that moment when she comes out of that
Oh,
shed.
the dog in the boat
Yeah.
under upside
So
down
technically,
boat.
she
Yeah.
does get bit.
Yeah.
People do
Yeah.
bad things sometimes. They do it a lot more nowadays with the world being what it is. So I think it's best. Leave me alone!
Sorry, okay? My fault. I shouldn't have.
Leave me alone!
It's okay. It's okay. She's in a better place. It's okay. It's okay.
Maybe it's best if we all get some rest. Who knows how long we'll be out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll take first watch.
Thank you, Kenny. Really.
Don't mention it.
You did good. It was nice while it lasted.
So in the beginning, we had her sew up her arm. That was
Oh yeah.
traumatic,
yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
thing.
That was
Remember
tough.
that?
Well, I woke up the next day after recording that scene, and I had bruises on my forearm because it'd be voiceover.
You're
It's still
acting.
Oh, were
very
you
physical.
pinching?
Yeah, I was like grabbing my
Oh
arm.
my god.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I'd
I'm
forgotten.
human.
Same with in
yeah,
this
I do
season where
bruise.
she gets a bullet in her shoulder. I was like pushing on my shoulder. That's like, I have a bruise. Yeah. I
Those
know.
bullets, they
Dedication.
bruise.
They do. They bruise. It was a rubber bullet.
Yeah, right.
It
Even when
went
they're
straight
fake.
through.
Went straight through. I
Was,
didn't feel
was
it.
the arm
Clean
sewing
shot.
was the arm sewing thing at all a homage to the Lee arm cutting sequence? 'Cause it was kind of a similar sequence.
Man,
in
yeah,
concept.
that was
Yeah, there was some of that for
There's
sure.
a little
'cause it was,
overlap there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
that was brutal.
Yeah.
That was real loud. Hopefully there aren't more of them.
Yeah, well, let's move. We don't want to be around to find out.
It's very close.
He's very close.
It's very
Yeah.
close. Come. I'm Russian. Did you know?
Can't you tell?
Orville.
Look at me. I'm Russian.
You guys already talk about the wackiness with the two of the Russian guys were swapped for some reason. The big guy and the skinny guy were like
Were
they
they
changed
both
their
Julian?
names and they were swapped.
Were they
I think
both
they were
him?
actually Russian guys.
No.
Yeah, I
they
think
weren't.
that's what I heard. You actually hired
But they
Not
swapped.
in
native
season 2.
speaking.
Although Winston was season 2.
You
so,
hired
know.
real Russian guys.
real
eh?
Russians.
Yeah, they're real.
I had done that entire opening shootout scene. I was working on that scene, and at some point, for some reason, the two Russian guys swapped,
That's
and
funny.
they changed names and locations in the scene.
Oh,
And I don't
interesting.
know why that.
That
was
makes
some
it
weird
fun
thing.
for you.
It was real fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh,
Frozen Lake.
Here's the Frozen
Weirdly,
Frozen
this was
Lake.
supposed to be covered with snow, and I don't remember where, like, what. There was a note
Luke's
somehow
gotta
happened
die
where it was like,
somehow.
oh, we need to make sure it looks like a lake. But it
Luke's
was like,
gotta
why would
die
they come-
somehow.
I
Interesting.
don't remember how that came about.
It's,
Well,
it's
ice.
disappointing that Kenny doesn't know that
No
Americans
shit, Ice.
speak English.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Well, it's
I guess that's fine.
no.
you
Why
can't.
do you
No,
ask?
I'm pretty sure you can't.
Unfortunately,
What if we just
you cannot.
lay him down and push him
Scoot-
like a
Yeah,
hockey
scoot
puck?
totally.
him.
You
Just
might want to
scoot.
tread really lightly right now.
Yeah, I've just scooted across.
And Kenny's red scare is really coming out in this episode.
Yeah, just get on your belly and slide, people.
I remember thinking that out loud too.
Yeah,
during, like,
totally.
One of the dark,
Right?
like the third Batman movie.
Slide across.
They're like
run and
walking across
slide.
the ice, and it's like, why doesn't everybody just like belly crawl across
Yeah.
the ice?
Make
Distribute
yourself
your
as
weight.
flat as
Yeah.
possible.
Or just go around this.
Or just go. It's not that. It's not
I
like
know.
you know
It's
Tahoe
not-
here,
it's
where
not like-
it's pretty crossable.
Totally.
I mean, go aroundable.
We don't have time to waste. I
It's
guess.
an extra 20 minutes.
I honestly,
maybe.
it might have been.
House is
A,
It
right
really
there.
is beautiful, though. That
it was
shot
probably a
is really
technical
gorgeous.
It is.
limitation of like it was probably written as
Uh-oh.
oh this is a vast expanse and then
Right.
in the engine it was like oh we need to make it
Don't
actually
limp.
smaller.
You're the PC,
By our-
Clem. You'll be fine.
Don't
By
let
our engine standards, this is a pretty vast
Oh.
expanse.
It's a big
Now there's zombies.
Where the heck did they
Handless
come from?
zombies.
Well, she did have to shoot a walker.
They heard the crack in the ice.
Yeah.
So
Oh
attentive.
yeah,
those
they're not
undead.
us talking about it.
Oh,
Oh,
Luke,
Maybe now that we've seen that
there's
happen.
your future.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just go.
You know
just,
what?
just
James
go,
looking on the
people.
bright side of things.
Just get
Wow,
going.
he's out. They're like, fuck this. I'm
Oh
gone.
yeah, now he's just completely Arvo
You piece.
focused.
I remember all this.
Fuck.
there you go. You just naturally slip into it.
Right back
There
into
was
it.
there was a session during season 2. I
Yeah.
don't remember why. Probably because I had commuted from San Carlos to
Yeah.
Fairfax, which is if you don't know,
That's
if you're not from
crazy.
the San Francisco
It's-
Bay
it's
Area,
far.
It
that's the
sucks.
bottom to the top, which is tough in the middle of the day. And pretty much after every line, I for whatever reason would say fuck.
Totally. That was great.
Fuck
And
you.
the notes would
Bonnie.
say, edit that out.
Yeah, I would hope so.
The commute got you into character.
Be careful now.
Those were tough days.
Yeah.
I can make it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Scott came into this
I've got
session
this.
and he kind of read ahead what was coming. And he's like,
It was not good.
come on, man. Ooh. That's how I'm going to. Really?
This is.
And then Dennis was there saying, "It's not what I wanted."
Sorry.
Yeah, totally.
I had a
I
different
fought
vision.
17
Yeah.
fights to get it this way.
Mm-hmm. It was.
You
Luke
should have
Sidious.
seen how they
Team effort.
wanted you to die.
Oh jeez.
Just go back for him. You're lying. You
Stop
can do it.
telling her that! Clem, look at me. Pull out your gun and shoot those damn walkers, okay? Just give me a little time.
Clayton,
Help Luke.
I'll help the Luke.
Yeah. No, it's honestly one of the reasons why it's hard looking at this stuff because I'm trying to remember. It's like I'll see the thing on screen and
You're
go,
all,
"Oh, is that? I thought that part was different
Why
because
did
Right.
of this
that
other
happen?"
thing." And
Right.
it's like, yeah, trying to remember.
Oh, Clem.
Aw.
So good. She's so good.
Just want the nice boy to live.
I want that puffy jacket.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Oh, button mash to not drown.
So you
Yeah.
you killed Luke.
Yikes. Yikes.
It's your fault.
Well, come on. Well, yeah.
Oh, of
geez.
course.
To make matters worse.
Naturally, there's some weirdo floaty zone.
Yeah.
That guy just
Floaties.
lived under the lake even before he was a
Floaters.
zombie. He's just lake man.
Is that what he did?
200 years. Finally, I got to come back.
A
Oh,
real
Luke
life.
saved me from that zombie. That's fantastic.
That's cool.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
He didn't
yeah.
Oh no.
Dang it.
Uh-oh.
My heart will go on.
Yeah.
Luke going down is a pretty iconic shot. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
As sad as it is, it's
Now
really
we're just gonna
gorgeous.
have zombie Luke in the water forever.
That was it. See you,
Wow.
Scott.
Sorry.
Sorry, Scott. We love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Ponto.
Scott. I remember from the first session, he was. I was only in a piece of it, but he
Yeah.
was. He was stoked to be in the game.
Oh,
he
totally.
really
He
liked
was, like,
season
a
1
huge
and
fan.
was
Yeah,
like,
he was a
came
total
in with a
fan.
bunch of
Fan of the
enthusiasm.
first season.
Yeah.
He also had
cool.
great ideas too. A lot of that stuff kind of got tweaked on the fly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I felt like he was the only one outside of the process enough to be focused on what was really going on. Like
That's funny. Yeah.
he didn't have any noise around him, and it was just like, oh, so what you're trying to do is blah blah blah.
Yeah. Any episode 3 comments? Kenny, episode 3 comments with Carver.
It was fine. That's all you
I
have
don't
to say
remember
about it.
what happened.
Well, like Kenny and Carver and Kenny
Oh yeah, he beats
bashing
Kenny up.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, no,
yeah.
that wasn't good. but then
Yeah.
Kenny killed him
Sure.
back, and that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny killed him back.
Didn't he though?
I remember that Carver.
Should have said no backsies. And then it would have been fine.
Backsies.
I remember Carver's face getting mashed in, having just a loving amount of damage states, like an
Yeah.
unbelievably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it changes
It's
like
a
5 or
weird-
7 times.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super bad.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, he's not coming out of that.
Yeah.
He is dead.
Beans. Oh, chili.
Can of
Chili's good.
fucking chili.
Kenny, stop it. Just stop.
What? Lose your taste for this sort of thing?
What did you do to him?
There's another just like it. He wasn't lying.
You want to tell me how a can of fucking chili is gonna help
How is
me?
beating a kid to death gonna help anyone? This is your fault, and you damn well know it.
Well,
Fuck
is it
you,
though?
Bonnie.
I think
You
It's
know what?
everybody's
I feel
fault.
like I
Yeah.
want to kill him.
Well,
That was. There was a lot of that this season that
That's what
Clem
Joe,
had to put
that's
up
what Joe
with.
wanted.
Yeah.
Clem had to put up with all the adults just being a bunch of like, just kind of morons, really. Everybody blaming each other.
That's what being an adult is.
I know,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
constant
You
blame.
resort to being a moron.
When you're an adult, you just take
I'm
hostages
gonna
and blame each
tie
other.
this fucking Russian to a staircase.
Clem's just like, God, what is wrong with you idiots?
It's not even a finished staircase. It's like a framed out house. There's no sheetrock.
This will
And a
come in
shiv.
handy.
There's not even any insulation.
This is a cool setting, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Is there anything behind why it was an unfinished house?
Well, it would have been
Don't
finished
remember.
had the zombie apocalypse
Yeah.
not.
That's right.
I mean, that's just my
Contractor
theory.
stopped working when the apocalypse
Yeah,
hits.
well, I guess we should throw in the towel.
guys are zombies. Sorry.
I guess they did get pretty
Is
lucky
it
with
symbolic
the ski
of them?
resort.
The ski resort was super nice.
Yeah. it was
Yeah, totally.
They had
Lodge was
peaches.
fancy.
A Christmas tree.
No, it's a lot of our favorite choice in the season is the sit next to Luke or sit next to Kenny.
The
Like, it's just
lunchroom.
Yeah.
people struggled with that. It's so funny how it's such like the consequences. It's such a high school scene.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but it feels great.
I almost wish we'd done
That's
more
Nick
games where
Brecken, yeah.
like just social stuff like that was the stakes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately everything's fucking life or death.
I know.
Yeah.
But it
yeah.
could be everything is.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Got to justify those QTEs.
You gotta be.
Kenny won't remember that.
It's not like, how do I put on my prom dress with QTEs? You can't do that.
I can't believe he's gone. I've lost people before, but it just hasn't felt this shitty in a while.
He cared about you too, Jane. I know he did.
God damn it. I shouldn't have come back.
We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Pretty in Pink. The
Did
game.
you work with Camille? Jillian, were you in for those
Yeah,
sessions?
absolutely. Yeah, well,
Cool.
so Pierre was the. I didn't go down for that one, and Pierre was there. It's funny because he was shooting something down there, and we were working with
Probably
the
Silicon
agent.
Valley.
It probably was, but we were working with the agent, with his agent, and trying to set up a car, and it turned out that the lot that he was working on was really close to the studio, and so then the agent came back and he goes, he's going to self-drive. And
Self-drive.
so then
He's
we-
gonna self-drive with his own feet.
So then we were. That was funny because we all were. It was a term. Yeah,
What a weirdly efficient
That's
fiction.
so LA.
And you know,
my God,
Melissa always
self-driving? Are you
self-drove.
sure?
I self-drove my ass
But
up
what was
Self-driver.
funny is then we were.
across the bay.
He obviously is a funny dude, and he's like, I'm like, you didn't have any trouble getting here. He goes, no, and I'm like, did you self-drive? He goes, actually, the lot's right next door. I walked.
I self-walked.
Self-drove with my feet.
Correct me if I'm mistaken. I know his wife. I feel really bad. I'm forgetting her name. They are also fans. He's was familiar
absolutely,
with
yeah.
the universe, so
He told
was
me
pretty
he was a
psyched in.
fan of me, which I thought
Yeah,
was nice.
well, we met him at
Complete
Comic-Con
fiction.
at
Yeah.
the Skybound
I was like,
party,
"No,
and he was
you're
like,
not."
Clem! Yeah, no,
Come on.
he knew.
Get out of here.
He knew who we were, so that's cool that that
Yeah,
he
he
was
was-
psyched to work on the game.
And it was definitely like that content was not like that's not his wheelhouse. And he
And you took most of the funny stuff out, didn't you?
I didn't do anything.
Somebody took the funny stuff
I
out.
didn't do it.
He read what we gave him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun, and all of those were. The Michael Madsen one was really fun, and I'm trying to remember. Well, Scott was a kind of a long-term thing.
Yeah, there was one point where you guys, actually speaking of the difference of recording in LA and the Bay Area, you and Jason Latino, this was season 2, right? Sent us like a picture of you
Yeah.
on a yacht
I knew
or
that was
something,
coming.
Yeah.
traveling around, I don't know, Marina
Hey,
Del
man,
Rey,
it's
wherever
pretty
you were.
good. Well, it was the big leagues, man.
So we were up north recording. So
Yeah.
me, Mark,
Eating ramen.
Darren, Dara, and
Oh, that's right.
Dara.
The
and
shit-
Joel Robb, who
I
was
have that
recording.
picture, yeah,
so
yeah.
we went and stood in a bathroom stall, like
Yeah, the
circled
shit
by
villains.
Oh, we all know.
I remember.
that stall.
standing around a toilet,
I have that
saying,
picture.
"Oh yeah,
All
well
at
here we
Jory's.
are."
Yeah, I have that photo too.
And then yeah,
I
you
was
named
on
it the
that
shit
text.
villains.
Well,
It
what
was-
happened there? I think I either said it or on the season 2 one, on season 1, or we were talking about
There
it.
was a
but-
margarita mix session too that you sent. That was you just sending pictures of the margaritas you were drinking while you were recording.
And it was not to knock
Yeah.
Studio
Vanetta-
Jory. Studio
no,
Jory
not
was
at all.
home.
Not at
That
all.
was second
Oh, no,
home.
trust
but it was
me.
just
I used to
funny the
make light of the
dynamic
Los
of like.
I
Angeles
lived a
recording
lot of my
experience.
life in that chair, but
Yeah.
I no. So, the assistant came in and said, I forget the studio owner's name right now, 740 Sound, but she goes, he wants to take you out on his boat after the session. Are you guys cool with that? And Jason and I kind of looked at
Well,
each other, and
yeah.
Jason's like, I think the only right answer here is yes. We're like, yeah, we're good. And then we just wanted to get done. Like,
Yeah.
all right, well, that's good. Move on.
No,
on.
that's fine.
great.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that
One
sounds
take
great.
is good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went on the boat.
I don't think we need this second page.
I think we can skip these
Yeah.
lines. I don't think we need even a single take.
And
of
then we
those.
get on the boat and
No
we go
coverage.
out, and it's like he's got it. It was like it was catered, and I thought, wow, this is great. We should, this is. I like
Let's
recording.
record here
I
all
love
the
this
time.
is wonderful, and I'm sure that was the intention. But yeah, I remember that you guys were back
in Fairfax.
in Fairfax.
Yeah. No,
And honestly,
I love
but
Fairfax.
the thing
are
is,
you
though,
kidding?
the funny. I mean, it's
Marin.
funny,
I love it.
but there was this whole. It wasn't really tension, but there was a palatable thing that was happening then, where these celebs were getting cast, and we had come from this little family of people that were all doing our thing, and that's how we did season 1, and then it started expanding.
Well, yeah, because there were sessions where you couldn't be. I mean, yeah,
'Cause I
it
was
was
No, you had
to go
right,
where the talent was.
exactly.
Yeah.
It got a little distanced
Yeah.
as far as like the separation or.
I feel like that's when the remote recording sessions.
And then that started, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we really had. Well, we had to do it for we did it for Thrones, but we did it for Wolf Among Us because there was a lot of actors.
Yeah, you had talent in Georgia or something like that, or you had
Everywhere.
people in weird
It was-
places.
I mean,
yeah.
we recorded for Thrones. We had Kit Harington was in Budapest, and
Budapest is
then there
weird.
was
Budapest.
Um,
you know, it's kind of just the times, though. I think we were saying on I think the season 1
Yeah.
commentary that
Been a long
this,
day for you.
I know it was some season.
I think it was season 8.
9.5 hours ago.
Yeah.
I was saying
Totally.
this.
But it also just kind of just with the success of season 1 and games in general
Yeah.
becoming more cinematic, I mean, that was just kind of the natural. It
Yeah.
wasn't just Telltale Games.
I know,
Things
but
were
it-
becoming
oh,
more
totally.
remote. And
It just happened. Like it did break up our little
Right.
group, and to some extent, but the remote thing too. That's just kind of a way of life now.
Clem
yeah,
is smoking.
Totally. Oh, she
It was
took
really
the
well
drag.
animated too.
Yeah,
A lot of like
I don't
facial stuff
remember that.
going on there.
she's all.
Yeah, she's.
What am I gonna get? Lung cancer? Am I already infected with zombieism?
Check her for weapons.
That's what she should have said. Still not bitten.
Still not bitten by nicotine. Still not cancer.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like as time passed, everything just turned more and more remote,
Yeah.
which has advantages sometimes, but it's also a sort of bummer, especially because like going back in even the early days of Telltale and
Mm-hmm.
Sam Max and everything, like there was that always kind of face to face in person.
Yeah. It's great
Kind of
for.
recording.
I think what I like to do is I like to kick sessions off with people, and then you can come back and do the recordings. Because the one thing that's great about remote is you're able to. Your job is to get the voice, and if you're just if you're watching someone, I mean, we always would just look at the script, but then you're reading, and it's weird. So it's kind of nice to have just this voice from beyond coming out, but.
People still prefer. I think people. I mean, even though it is more remote now, I mean, there's a lot of clients that we want
absolutely.
them in
Especially
the
interactive,
studio.
where you got to be there.
Yeah, you have
just
to be
can't
Oh,
there.
totally.
phone it
No,
in.
it depends on what you're doing, I think.
Yeah, and it's helpful as as the actor.
Yeah.
I mean, on the final season, there were a lot of remote sessions where either I would be in LA and Jack was in the Bay, or whatever. Kent and
Yeah.
they were all up at the Bay. But at least we had I had the big screen Skype situation.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I still
We
saw
could
them.
see each other from various
Yeah,
screens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when you don't have at least a picture to it, it's a little weird. To just
Yeah,
have
that's
voice.
true.
But
But
I'm also a people person. I'm from Missouri. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like company.
I don't need any people. I'm from Northern California.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, it's
Yeah,
fine. I don't.
Like,
I don't
people
see
be
you, and you don't
gone.
see me. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
You don't want to see me. But I mean, we did a majority of Thrones and a lot of Wolf remotely. So it just, it just depends on. It also
The
depends on
sitch.
the pace at which you need to produce.
I
it
was
at.
going to say that's another big thing with with the studio switching from doing sort of one game at a time to trying to take on multiple
Right.
projects at once is like you end up having to slot in, it's like, oh, I have meetings all day till 4, but we can have a pickup session from 4 to 5
Exactly.
to get those lines so I can go into the review afterwards, and everything was sort of
Right.
stacked.
Totally.
Yeah, I feel like you guys. Yeah, Telltale by season 2 was definitely like just like like expanding and taking on
Yep.
so many projects, and instead of just working on one title, it was turning into like kind of madness.
No, and ultimately too, teams were trading back and forth between projects. Like you would
Yeah.
have
Absolutely.
animators would come on for 5 days while they're on a different project. It's like they're on Game of Thrones waiting for
Yeah.
a scene to come in, so they get lent out to the different project and come in and do a few animations and then go
Totally.
back. And so it's really hard.
How did people feel? Were there
it's
people that just
not
jived with that, or
No,
were they
it's-
like, this
it's
is
mostly
really
bad
Did they
because-
sleep in their cars?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's
well,
like
there's-
it's a mathematical solution to a problem that is a creative thing. You
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah. Most
And
people
it's-
wanted to just be on something for a while.
Right.
To
Exactly.
soak into it and own the scene and
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
really get to process it as
Yeah.
a cohesive whole.
No,
like
and-
nobody wants to come and be a mercenary for like one shot or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And you would lose that sense of ownership. So it was really
Yeah.
this season 2 was tough on the team, and it started. People had to learn a new way of working where it
Yeah.
wasn't. It used to be sort of I am owning this piece of content,
Right.
and you
And
get
you
really
carry it
invested
around
in it.
with you,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And it's like now you were coming in and you didn't really know, like the person who had the scene before you
Right.
got to a certain point, but then there was a bunch of changes out of a review, and so now you're being brought in to make those changes, but you
Right.
don't really know the intention of the original
Totally,
scene.
yeah.
It's really tough. Yeah.
I would almost always just bulldoze over what was there before if I had time
Yeah.
to do so. And I know a lot of people
Yeah.
did too, because it was like
Yeah.
everyone worked kind of a different way technically and stuff too. So it's really hard to work in someone
Absolutely.
else's chores if they'd already like set it all up.
For sure.
And it was kind of
Yeah.
hard to understand what their intended flow was for the whole scene. Yeah, and getting to know that the final product on screen was something you owned was easily one of the best things about working at Telltale, especially in the early days. It's like everything about that final shot is because of me.
Me.
Yep.
And it was hard when you couldn't say that.
Right.
Well, and that's all comes back to when you said, after season 1, the scrutiny grew, but the products, there was more SKUs, there was more people, and the problem is, the pace that we had to work at was insanity.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And I would talk to other people working on other projects, and like I talked to this one guy, and he's like, yeah, I like to book all the actors, and we just go out to dinner. And we talk about the script, and I'm like,
what's that like?
What fucking world do you live in, dude?
That exists.
Like, I couldn't believe it. I
there
got
are people
pissed at
that
him.
see
like,
the
that's-
script before the shoot?
Yeah, totally.
What?
And I was like, that's like, okay,
Yeah.
because I work in the games industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too,
think I
man.
saw a script until we were recording
Oh,
it.
I saw
Yeah,
it when
for
I loaded it onto
Sometimes,
those iPads.
sometimes you would like email it to me in advance, but generally
That's
no.
pretty rare.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was tough,
Yeah.
and I think, a lot of the problems that came out of this season, I think were due to the studio sort of switching gears to a new thing, and it was sort of a natural fallout of
Yep.
of a company trying to grow that quickly and
Sure.
take on a bunch of new projects,
Coming
which
off
was
a
because of
huge
the success of
success.
season 1.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's hard to sort of like fault some of the things that happened where you kind of look at it in retrospect and say,
Yeah, it's
Grow
easy,
the
it's
best
easy
you
to
can.
look in
I see
retrospect.
the
Yeah.
intention was to try and get to this place.
Right.
But the reality was it didn't happen.
Right.
And it's it's tough.
It's also like it was definitely a genie in the bottle for season 1, and a lot of that was time. It was just like stars aligning, and just like good albums, following something up is hard in itself. And that said, season 2 was awesome. Like,
No.
Season 2 did
Yeah,
well,
I was gonna
it
say. I know
good.
we
It
started
just-
off dark.
Yeah, but it's
Still fantastic.
but it's
piece of
not the
content.
it's
It
not
was
the
all
first
amazing.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's more of like there's great pieces in it, I feel like.
Yeah.
But then one of the things that I definitely 100% agree with is the fact that the hope is missing, and that's one of the things that makes
Yeah.
The Walking Dead as a franchise like something interesting. Is that
Yeah,
even
totally.
though how messed up it is, there's always like some bit of good you can see somewhere.
That's
like,
keeping
some bit of
people
hope.
going.
Yeah.
And I think that was lost. And a lot of this, these episodes were written by basically every episode by a different person.
Right.
Who some of them were like, coming in not knowing
Some
much
were
about
brand
the
new,
franchise.
yeah,
and some-
exactly.
It was just like everyone was trying their best, but
Yeah.
it was it's tough to sort of orchestrate all those pieces. I mean, like even with any game, it's like when you think about it, you're like, I can't believe this thing actually got made and shipped and people
Oh,
played
yeah.
it. And this one, I feel like, was especially rough just because of the time that it happened in the studio and all the changes that
Right.
were going on.
Wow, he's nice.
Oh.
He's a really nice guy.
Well,
Oh,
the fans.
It was hard for me to
love
be such a
this.
nice guy. It was really tough because I'm a total dick. So
Right.
this was much harder.
Yeah, regardless of all the details that we give, I mean, the fans totally just devoured
Yeah.
this.
No, and even
They were very
And,
nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
very
No, I agree.
supportive of the season.
There's lots of even some of the stuff that we disagreed with because it wasn't sort of what the intention was had its own merits, and there's a lot of people out there who liked
Right.
certain things.
Exactly.
And some of the stuff that we didn't intend it and happened as an accident that people really liked,
Right.
and some of it they didn't, and it was it was a good
Yeah, it's hard when
learning
you're
process.
close to it to because
Sure.
you know what you wanted it to be, or you know about all it was supposed to be this,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is, and people that's how they
Yeah.
ingested it.
Well, and to be fair, there's parts of many great Telltale games that started off differently and then sort of either because
yeah.
of fan feedback or just sort of you get a better idea halfway through the season of
Yep.
how a reveal can pay off. And
My kid have more sense.
They're scared of you, Kenny.
If their big plan is to wander around in the woods, they ought to be scared of more than me.
Did you hear me?
We're all scared. Look, we got maybe a day's worth of food for that kid left. That's it. Clem, think about Rebecca and Alvin. I mean, what if Lee hadn't gone tearing across half of Georgia looking for you? A lot of folks died to make that happen. A lot of folks died to get us this far.
I know. You're right.
Someone's got to keep this group together. That kid's depending on us. I wish Lee was here. What'd you
All
think
right, what would he
said?
say? I think he would
Trust no
that
one.
he doesn't have all the answers.
That's the most reasonable choice for me, that option.
Yeah,
Especially now
right.
they've done season 4 and Ghostly is like, I had no plan.
right. I didn't know what I was doing. Well, and Clem kind of
And Clem echoes it, 'cause-
Echoes that to AJ, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there? This is again gonna make me show my lack of memory. How many flashbacks are there in this season?
In the season?
In season 2.
I think just one.
Just
Just
this?
the
I think
one,
it's just
right?
one.
I think it
Coming
ended
up,
with one.
right?
Originally, episode 2 was supposed to be. It was all structure around flashbacks. So it was like you get a lot of
I'd heard about
new
that,
information
yeah.
about things and relationship dynamics.
Yeah.
There was like 3 or 4 of them. You found out what happened right after season 1 ended. Like, so it's Clem walking
right.
Oh,
off,
wow.
and then how she came to cross
Kristen
Krista. Like,
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Remember the tree on the horizon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, yeah.
And there's 2 people.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
The
there was there was a
mystery.
scene that was set there.
Yeah.
It was kind of like what happened right
yeah.
after. It was really cool.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is something I always wanted to see what happened there.
Oh, we'll find it. Hang
Someday.
tough, Ken.
I made a fake ending for season 1 after because it was so depressing when we
Yeah.
were making it. It was just
Yeah.
like, "Ugh." So I took at Telltale, like obviously there was a bunch of games that had been made previously, and all the assets work in the same tool. So I just brought in an island from Monkey Island,
Oh my God.
and
that's
then
great.
I had Lee and Clementine sitting on a beach, like basically sort of like they'd somehow escaped on a boat, and they're just on this small island in the
This
center.
is all right, Clem.
I want to
Yeah.
see that.
I want to see that.
Oh my god, that sounds fabulous.
It was just peaceful, just like the waves and like birds chirping.
Oh, that's
Right.
wonderful.
The world has now seen that Sean Ainsworth thing where Lee just
Oh, yeah, the
matrix
crazy
his
gauntlet.
way through the
It's really
gauntlet.
good. Yeah.
I think it's so fantastic.
It's so good.
I'd known about that for so many years. I was so glad it just got dropped as soon as Telltale shut down.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Oh, actually, another fake thing I made. I make a lot of fake things. They paid me to make things that
Outstanding.
aren't real, I guess.
You're a
Hard
creative
at work
director.
or
You make
hardly
fake
working.
things.
Exactly, that's your job, right?
Yeah, making fake things is our job.
I made a fake trailer for season 2 when we were just sort of like prototyping some things, and we'd gotten some of the art assets in, where it was just like it faded in, a slow push in on sort of like a little makeshift grave, of a couple pieces of wood put in
Yeah.
across, and then there you see it from afar, and it's the camera sort of as it gets closer, you see the name Clementine scratched into it.
Yeah.
And I just remember showing people who weren't working on the season, and they were like, "Clementine dies in the what the hell is happening?" But then at the end, like a little flower came in, and like Clementine had sort of walked by and seen it, and like put a little flower like on the thing of just like, "Oh,
I
it's
feel
my
like
name."
I might have
that's
seen that. I
cool.
might have seen that.
Yeah.
You might have showed that.
What, Clementine was just like fucking with us?
Yep.
Trolling you.
Or I was trolling
Trolling.
people in the
Season 2,
office,
Clementine
basically.
fucks with
Right.
you.
Oh, he's not that bad.
What
I
guy?
want to kill him.
That guy?
He did beat the shit out of Arvo.
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
was
Really
not very
doesn't
nice
deserve
to
it.
Arvo.
This is where I wish Pierre was here to talk more
Arvo.
about episode 3, because there's a lot of really good stuff in episode 3 that I can't remember the details of.
Yeah.
Episode
I
3
don't-
felt like
I
it
don't
got
remember it at all.
gutted to me looking at it from the outside.
It went through a bunch, yeah.
Now I'm gonna walk up to you nice and slow. You're gonna give me the gun, okay?
Why are you doing this?
He didn't give us any choice.
Злой человек.
I'm sorry, Clem.
Just give me the gun, Clem. I'm not gonna hurt you. Easy.
I'll shoot.
Here we go. There we go. It's fine. Just
Oh my god.
What?
This is where you were pinching your arm.
No
yeah, well,
way.
when
The bruising! Pressing your shoulder.
I think when she wakes up.
Oh, okay.
It's only when she's got to sound like she's in pain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the only time.
fair.
Like right here.
But there's probably some phenomenal breathing happening right now.
Yeah, there is. And those Titanic guys.
Crouching around a wall. Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, make sure that the lens fogs up. That's an extra $100,000.
I do love the Lee flashbacks. or not flashbacks, dream sequences.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people lost their shit at this point. They're like, wait, was it all a dream?
Oh my God, Lee's alive!
Yeah.
I just got both arms.
Thank God.
I can't wait to redo that train puzzle.
Right? Trying to get
Here.
around drunken Kenny.
Get off of my train.
Time to fight, I guess.
Yeah, Kenny was such a... Well, I mean, he did just lose his,
It's funny for the
son
for the
and wife.
And we had whiskey.
And, yeah.
Whiskey and death. It's a dangerous combination.
This is like a season 4 thing. We were trying to do there's a lead like dream sequence in season 4, and at first we were trying to do a flashback, and kind of like this one, because we were trying to figure out some other like niche in the canon it could go, right? Like, where's like an empty scene we could pretend that there was an unseen Lee and Clementine scene, like this one, until we eventually realized, oh, we'll just make it a dream.
Pick an RV.
But we couldn't find a good place for it where they would be able to talk about something that was relevant to like
Yeah.
Right.
the current scenario, like this one is. This one was kind of like, I don't think you could ever do this trick again.
Right.
I can drive
But
I
it fits
thought-
perfectly here.
I can drive.
I thought I loved where the season 4 dream sequence, the dream comes in.
Yeah, it ends up-
before a stressful battle. Just gotta
Yeah.
find some
Relief, yeah.
wisdom from Lee.
It ends up serving a different purpose in this one, but it still works really nice. So this is cool because like this scene feels like it totally could have happened in season 1, except for the slight meta knowledge that you are talking to Deadly.
Right.
It's a deleted scene. Cutting room floor stuff.
Why did Lily do that to Carly?
She just
I don't know.
I don't know. None of us really do.
She was sad, Clem.
Dad got salt licked, and she just.
Yeah.
Lost
That's
it.
rough.
like,
I mean,
oh,
I don't know.
man.
I don't know how you deal with that.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Another fine Kenny moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, what am I supposed to
I know.
do?
I got a salt lick, and he's dying.
Larry
He's
kind
dead.
of deserved it.
Gotta
God,
crush his
Larry was.
brain.
He would have been
Yeah.
a very large zombie.
Yeah.
And really angry.
Yeah, yeah.
Really
really
would-
large,
really angry.
angry.
I mean, something I wanted to ask in season 1 to you, Dennis. Actually, I remember there was an animated short called "The Blackwater Gospel." If you I don't know if you recall that, it was like a very heavy inspiration for the visual style of the season. Sure. And it had like all these like black lines on it and stuff. And Larry looks like a character from that short.
Oh,
Like he looks like he
interesting.
could fit in it totally.
Yeah.
Easily. Like everyone, like the other characters had like weird hook noses and stuff like he had. And I didn't know if you remember.
Yeah,
those.
he was.
I don't
he was
remember,
unique.
He's the most
any correlation,
exaggerated
yeah.
character
It
I
definitely
think, of
is,
the
yeah.
entire cast, and he's
Yeah.
awesome
Very.
looking.
Yeah. He is more stylized.
Yeah. I love Larry's design.
Me too, Clem.
Me too,
And-
Sweet Pea.
I'm scared, Lee.
What can I tell you to make it better?
That you won't leave me.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I promise. Everything's gonna be all right. Now let's try to get some sleep.
Okay, Lee. On the left. Slow down.
Shut up.
She's awake.
Hey, you.
Clem. Oh, thank God.
You passed out from the shock.
Where are we?
Been driving a few hours now.
We had to run the truck to keep you warm. How do you feel?
It hurts.
Couldn't find the bullet. Must have gone clean through. It'll burn a while, but you'll be fine.
Those sons of bitches. I mean, I expected it from the Russian. But Mike? I could tell they were working on something.
I didn't think they'd go that far.
Yeah, well, who would steal our food and shoot a kid? He never should have thrown in with trash like that in the first place.
I can't believe they did that.
I don't think they knew what they were doing, except trying to get away.
Yeah, well, they're gone now. Good fucking riddance.
Now that Clem's awake, we should talk about where we're going.
We're headed north.
What, to find Wellington?
You sure talk a lot of shit, but you got a better plan?
We head south, back to House.
Carver's camp? The fuck kind of plan is that?
I think Bonnie.
These two. My goodness.
Why?
Mom and Dad,
why is
stop
she in the
fighting.
front
I
seat?
know. Ugh.
It's like maybe she should
Just
be in the
get
back seat
divorced
so they're
already.
not arguing.
I think I need Clem to lay down.
Well,
to be fair.
she just woke up from her
With a bullet wound.
shot
dream sequence.
wound
Yeah.
dream sequence.
Look, even if there is someplace up here, it could take us weeks to find it. We could get back to House in a day.
Tell you what, we can turn around just as soon as you pry this wheel from our cold, dead fingers. How's that sound?
Whatever. I give up.
Were those shots originally supposed
Get
to
your
have
feet off
like
the
Clem
goddamn
moving the
dash.
camera like it was the first car? I don't know. Like these shots, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's definitely symmetry to stuff from season 1.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a car scene before. It's probably
Yeah.
the most iconic
You're
one of the
both
iconic
being
scenes.
children.
Stop being children, Mom and Dad.
Her waking up with the eyelid effect,
Oh, yeah?
stuff like that.
That's deliberate, too.
Yeah.
Kenny's depth perception for driving must be great right now.
It's all white. What's it matter?
That's true, yeah.
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 None of them were equipped to drive very well right now.
I mean, they're not even looking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There could be a car.
He's driving full on sideways.
There's no traffic in the apocalypse.
Shut up.
Stop it.
At least
Stop
he's not
doing
doing
a fighting.
the film actor thing of like the wrenching
Oh,
the wheel
yeah,
back
right,
and forth.
right,
Like,
driving.
you know.
Right.
Driving on this
Never
straight
looking
road.
forward.
Yeah.
I liked on season 2. I mean, again, just all my love to the writers and just how insane how they nailed down the characters. But it was in this season that we start to see that edge of Clem, and
Yeah.
she like swears a couple times, but
Totally.
there's a really good balance of her not just being like, shut the fuck up. She's
Yeah, she
still was
eases
in
into
this
it.
like, yeah. But it was enough that we see that she's also not going to be, she's going to be large and in charge.
Kind of crazy given that it's like 4 different games and like almost different creative teams in every single one of them, but like Clem's arc of like growing up kind of works
Yeah.
across like 4 different releases of a franchise.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's one of the most impressive things probably about the Walking Dead Telltale game as a whole is there was so much going on every one of these different seasons.
Yeah.
And crazy circumstances and different projects fighting for resources and all this, and somehow it came together.
It
Which is a
did.
testament to everyone there just
Yes.
Well, and
figuring
that-
out a way to make it work.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. It was because people were so dedicated and just realized this isn't ready.
Right.
God, it like always happened the last minute too. Like every single project was just like, this is never ever gonna work ever. The last 2 weeks. Oh, I guess it's good now. What the heck?
Yeah, what happened?
What is going on? Yeah.
Here's
That happened.
a thing. I think I might have mentioned this to you, Kent, before, but like, yeah, Telltale game. Like, if there was 5-6 weeks development on it, depending on the episode, of like the whole team sort of working in earnest to get all the animations and cinematics and everything in. Even an extra few days goes a long way in that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
schedule, and it bums me out. Episode 2 of season 1 that I directed at the end, we got an extra week of polish. So there's a version sitting on a server somewhere that has like way more like sound and music cues and all sorts
Right.
of polish in
Really?
it, and there was like an extra week of cinematic polish with the whole team. Like it
Episode 2 of
bums me
season
out.
1?
Damn,
Damn.
episode 2.
So many hidden
Where is that
treasures.
version?
What happened was we passed cert on accident.
Oh.
So it got submitted thinking, this one's going to fail, but then we're going to release the polished one. And when it passed, the decision was made of like, let's just move on to the next episode and save a week.
Oh my God.
And then I think after when the first sort of redone edition was happening, I think it was too expensive to re-QA the whole episode. So yeah, somewhere there's a computer with
That's
a way more
amazing.
polished version, which is tough for me.
Out of here! I don't know how to drive.
See that pedal on the floor? Step on it!
Don't just sit there.
Jesus!
Meanwhile, at the car.
Back to the zombie.
Yeah.
I love the whiteout conditions in
Yeah.
this whole last.
It's hard to
scene.
see.
All right, I'm gonna say another
Snowy.
crazy thing.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
It's actually a
please
creepy.
do.
Another
Say the
potential
crazy
ending
things.
to this season. This never made it into production. Everything changed before it was really taken seriously. But there was a pitch that was circulating for a while where it was going to end with basically we're all playing Journey, and really like the end where you're just holding forward and it's whiteout conditions.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
there was a thought of it basically ending.
I think there's a sound thing going on that
Yeah,
maybe
what is
isn't
that?
supposed to.
That does sound
Okay, it's gonna go away. Scene's over.
Okay,
good.
cool.
Am I still picking up on microphone?
Telltale.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
She was basically going to be holding AJ at the end into this like whiteout conditions.
Into the unknown.
Yeah. And then walking for a long time, like absurdly long. And then you see like a light like way, way on the horizon, but she's sort of like starting to like hypothermia freeze up.
Yeah.
And breathing.
And it's sort of like AJ is weighing her down. So there's a choice of do you stay with AJ and just sit there and maybe freeze to death,
Shit.
or
Or run to the
or
light.
leave him
Oh
and
my
walk to
God.
Yeah, it was really, really dark.
that is
in the pitch.
dark.
It was everyone hearing it going like,
That's pretty painful. But that's like real.
Sometimes
that's
those are the
real
best
life
ideas when
you hear them
zombie
totally act
shit
like
right
that.
there. Yeah, that would be apocalyptic world reality.
Hard choices.
well, because at the end of season 2 there wasn't a season 3.
Thanks, Kenny.
I know.
So-
I know.
Hence
I
the 5 branching
know.
endings that are impossible to come back from without
Right.
cheating.
Yeah.
None of it mean
Right.
anything anyway.
We'll never have to follow these up.
Yeah, which is the same thing when we made the Back to the Future game. Bob Gale was like, because we ended
Oh, it
the
has a
season
crazy
in a
nonsense
crazy
ending.
and he was
Yeah.
just like, at the time, if I could go back and change the ending to the first one, we would have because we didn't think we were making a sequel. And then when that happened, we're like, oh, we just screwed ourselves. So
Yeah.
he was like, don't screw yourselves in case you make a season 2. But, so,
This is pretty cool artistically. This
It
like
is.
just
It's
harsh,
awesome.
Yeah.
harsh white.
Uh-oh.
Still good.
Yikes.
Still working.
yeah.
Here we are at the rest stop at the end of the world.
The
I
fateful
know,
gas station.
right?
Yeah.
It's got like a picnic area. Got some place for the kids.
Some tires to sit on.
Yeah.
Rocks to
Big
climb on.
tires that don't make sense. What would have this tire? I don't know. Just sit on it.
Zombie ate it. It's fine. Yeah, so Ainsworth, Sean Ainsworth was doing a lot of this stuff and really heavily involved in the visuals here, and it is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can you buy me a burrito from that vending machine?
Burrito?
I don't know.
It's probably still good. 2 years
Yeah.
later.
Beans have
Dehydrated
crystallized.
burrito.
For what it's worth, I felt like Jane ended up coming together as best as she could with the limited amount of screen time and sort of original planning that
Yeah.
went into
Yeah.
building
Christine
up to
was
this
great
moment.
too. She really did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Jane clearly, if we were going to do something, probably should have been in episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah. That's the thing. If
but we
it
didn't know.
was, yeah, if we went back and did it again, it would be there would be much more of it built that way. But
I also distinctly remember how this ending with the baby used to go, which was that AJ was just gone.
I remember that as well. I think we recorded it that
I remember it
way
being
as well,
changed
maybe?
because it was just like Jane made a decision that would be true to her character, which is just at some point she just chose to live instead of saving the baby.
Right.
Because that just matches up with her survival
Totally.
thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like I could have died saving the baby, or I could have lived, and that's just
Yeah.
me. And there was no
And
baby.
not been carrying around this 8-pound thing.
But then at some point, AJ was determined to be crucial to live, and so she instead becomes kind of a Machiavellian crazy person.
yeah. Well, and then he was almost killed in season 3. I feel like there was a mandate to kill him at first. Weirdly.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Even early season 4 stuff was like, how the heck do we get AJ out of the plot?
He's not happy.
Yeah.
Crazy eyes are on.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Kenny?
Kill a fucking child!
I didn't kill him! It was an accident, Kenny! I won't back down from you, Kenny.
Shut up!
I'm
warning you.
Jane, don't. Just don't.
I'm not letting this crazy fuck anywhere near me, Clem.
I don't need permission.
Yeah.
It's about to
Well,
get crazy.
And I guess even with all the craziness, there were some cool moments that came out of the fact that things changed.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
weird
yeah.
seeing those when it's like, I really like this moment, but I know that wouldn't have existed unless
Right.
things were insane. So it's
Ooh.
back and forth. Oh, man.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And bandage.
I mean, Jane does set it up here that little bit before the fight started. It's like she's clearly doing this to show Clementine something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna see what he truly is.
He's just a one-eyed man.
Very angry, one-eyed man.
So much blame.
Like Battle Duel of Fate should start playing here.
Yeah, totally.
There you go. Yeah. With the wind and everything, it's just so dramatic.
If you're watching along at home, plus playing now.
We just
Yeah.
need force fields that like separate the two of them so they just stop.
Play a Phantom Menace riff
about it.
tracks.
Yeah,
over
we need
our
some force
commentary.
effects and lift them off the ground.
This fight is so brutal too. The animation's great.
It hurts. That's my eye.
Oh,
Maybe that's
man.
where Thrones stole it.
The eye gouging?
Yeah.
No, that was written way before.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Clementine was like bleeding from that same ankle earlier. She just bleeds
Oh,
from the
yeah.
left side of her
She
body
just
all the
needs to
time.
heal.
She has no more blood left in the left side
Well-
of
Force
her body.
heal.
All right, so room, what are we gonna choose here?
We gotta
I
stay with Kenny.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
we need to stay with
I'll do
Kenny.
it.
I will abstain.
Yeah.
Do
You're
what you
biased.
want.
He always
Prima donna,
chooses
you
to
just
kill
wanna see
Jane.
more of
However, it's like, yeah, we can
yeah.
get Kenny has a good death speech too if we kill him.
That's well, but we've decided that the speech at
Wellington
Wellington
We'll do Wellington. We'll do
might
Wellington.
be.
Wellington is everyone's favorite.
My tears are frozen.
I know. I can't open my eyes.
They're just painted on my face. It's so cold. I like the vectors on that shot. Very nice.
She's got like a katana sticking out of her chest. Look
I
at
wish
that.
you get a
Look at the
giant
tang on
Yeah,
that sucker.
totally.
Shooting Kenny there is the craziest option. It's so crazy.
Right.
Just fuck it all, Clementine.
There was no other option. It was either shoot me or.
Well, you
I
can
remember
you can let him kill Jane and then shoot him.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
that's
that's
what Greg
crazy.
Miller did.
I was gonna say the Greg Miller
He sure
reaction
did.
to this
He took
stuff
great
was
pride
Of course.
great. Yeah,
Of course he did.
yeah. I remember we were, I think we were on Up at Noon or something talking about it, and he was saying how like it was like the easiest,
Oh yeah.
the quickest choice he ever made in a Telltale game.
Oh my
where he
gosh.
was like,
Yeah.
Kenny's my favorite character. I love him. I would do anything for him. But
he
that
was-
moment, I knew he had to go.
It was his time. Yeah. It was his time.
Yeah.
Go! I'm right behind you.
And there he is.
Oh, she just hid
Whoops.
the baby.
She just put it in a car.
It's cool.
She was
Seems
so convinced in her plan.
Totally
she died
not
for it.
neglectful at all.
He has more wrinkles on his face than usual there. Is that to show that he's
Who,
like
AJ?
real cold? Yeah, AJ does. I guess
He's
it's-
a
That's
little
his
bit older.
crying face.
He's 15 months. That's what they start to look like. Oh, hey, the baby's
Oh.
fine. What was that all about?
I guess we didn't need to do all that murder.
She's crazy.
Why'd she say it was dead?
She made me do a murder.
Fuck. You got any Advil?
Oh, my eye's killing me. If she had lied about Alvin here, it wouldn't have went that far.
Why would she?
She was nuts, Clem. A disturbed person that had her own agenda and was looking out for herself.
But I've seen who you
Okay.
really are. I want to kill you.
Okay.
Well, you missed your chance on the
Here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot you. Alfie. I'm the only one that gets to call him Alfie.
That's true. I don't think it happens anywhere else.
Nope.
That's cute.
I mean, when she's
you're a good
pissed at
dad.
him, she does call him as Alvin Jr. Alvin Jr. She does
Alvin Jr. Alvy. My little Alvy boy.
Yeah, when you yell at the swaddle, you call it Alvin Jr.
They're already yelling at the swaddle.
It's not a very good swaddle, if I may say so. It seems like they should have at least checked all those cars and maybe just driven them, right?
Well, that one looked
Is it
pretty
me?
messed up.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, I would give it
they were at a rest stop,
some
right?
kind of an effort.
I'd spend at least 10 minutes.
But I
so?
can say that all throughout The Walking Dead, though. I'm like, well, why didn't they just rub the blood on them
But
all
how
the
did they
damn
know
time?
there wasn't food in that taxi cab?
Like,
Yeah.
you know, the Whisperers. You're like, well, yeah.
The blood dries out.
Meanwhile, at the farm.
I weirdly, this
Meanwhile,
is.
at the oil well.
I'm trying to remember what project came after this, and everyone got pulled off because I ended up doing. I think I toured this whole scene.
Oh, really?
But I was also directing on the episode. So
Was it
weird.
Thrones?
Wasn't it Wolf?
Maybe
Wolf was
no,
happening
Wolf was first.
simultaneously.
Yeah,
it
it
was at
was.
the same time.
Oh, that's right. It was the end of Wolf. Yeah.
The end. And that got
That was the
Tweaked.
It's your decision.
a fair amount.
No, I feel like that ended
As you may
before
recall.
before this episode, though. It might have been people moving on to Thrones or something. I don't know.
Come on, Alvy. We got this.
You cheated.
We're in a Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
Finally.
Did you, though?
Yeah, usually
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
looks like a big
Been
wall.
playing?
Usually the MacGuffin location isn't real. This is amazing, Clem.
There's a whole city behind that texture flat.
That we never
That's
see,
right.
not even in season 3.
No, you see it in
You
season
see
3.
a
I think. I think there's like a flash.
flashback.
Or there's
Yeah,
something.
but she's
yeah,
like in a
but it's-
room.
right?
That's
Yeah,
basically-
yeah, it's
she's
a
like in,
sheet.
she's
Is
in the
Kenny like
guardhouse.
wandering around
Yeah.
outside,
She's in the guardhouse.
we
She never
don't.
actually makes it inside Wellington.
roasting marshmallows outside the wall? No room for you.
Put your hands up, Clem.
Drop your weapons. Approach the gate.
Rebecca Schweitzer again, right? Who plays Clem's mom
Yeah.
on the answering machine.
Yeah.
Rebecca Schweitzer. I don't know why I had to say it that way. It's
Yeah,
weird.
it's her.
It doesn't just
Sounds good.
Yeah, Clem's mom.
Yeah, totally.
Clem's mom voice also. This lady, forgot her name.
What's up, earmuffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is cold. She's the first. She's the first person sensibly wearing earmuffs. I think.
Yeah.
I know. I can't
She
handle
must have
it
her.
when.
She must have her shit together.
Yeah, when people don't wear hats in cold weather. It
She got a
just bothers
walkie-talkie
me.
too.
She could tell he was handsome from up there. Is Krista
Is
here?
Krista here? At one point,
Oh,
there was
yeah.
supposed to be.
There,
We got 6.
That line was
Pick
added,
one.
I think, as a at the very, very, very end, as like a we're settling this once and for all kind of thing. Like there is no
Nah.
Krista.
No,
Hennig
she's
saying
not
it was
here.
Committing, basically.
She's not
Right.
here.
yeah,
Done with your fan theories.
yeah.
There are 0 Kristas inside.
Yeah.
Well, no, those
I
still
came by
came
to
back
check
for
your supply
season
of
4.
Kristas. I mean,
that?
actually, they haven't stopped,
The-
even though season 4 is over.
Here you go.
Yeah, the fan theories of Krista coming back because
full of dirty
Telltale announced
diapers.
that there'd be a character from previous seasons, and everybody assumed it was Krista when in fact it was Lily.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, but yes,
It was also Eddie from 400 Days.
that was the other theory.
No, but I think I had confirmed some earlier interview. There was multiple characters with a weird little S on the end of it appearing. Anyways,
Ah, gotcha.
that's season 4 stuff.
But to be fair, Krista, we never see her die, so she may
Yeah,
still be.
totally.
Probably
Yeah,
fine.
she's
she
out
could
there.
still appear
Yeah,
in a future
she's-
Walking
It
Dead
worked
work.
out for Lily.
This is prime Kenny stuff here.
What are we gonna choose?
I personally like the Clem goes inside ending.
Yeah.
I think
They
it's
could
I
be
agree.
flesh eaters in there.
Yeah, but it's a big wall.
No, I mean they
she's
could be
not a flesh eater.
flesh eaters.
Yeah, they could be.
They've learned to speak.
Oh, we'll cook that baby.
That's like
Yeah.
veal.
So I'm trying to remember the other endings. There's an ending where Clementine ends up alone, walking into a field of zombies.
That one's iconic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
if you choose
That's if you
to,
kill whomever it is
or
after they kill the
Gotcha.
other person.
and you
Or-
choose
okay.
to walk away. Whoever's alive or whatever, you're like, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah, you can get
I'm
that
gonna
from
do this
siding with
by
either
myself.
person and then leaving them.
And then there's go with Kenny to Wellington,
Mm-hmm.
or there's go to Wellington and leave Kenny behind, or there's leave with Kenny.
Leave with Kenny.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's
Or
all the,
go
and
to
then
House.
there's the Jane endings, which also contains a branch where you let the family in or not.
Yeah. Yes, go to house, let the family in. And if you do, they actually rob your ass. So spoiler
Shouldn't have trusted
alert.
people, Clem. Thought we taught you better.
Haven't you learned anything?
Did you have hope, Clem? Stop it.
This is season 2. Nothing works out for anyone.
Yeah, exactly. No, internally, our favorite ending was the one we're going to do right now, which is the stay with Kenny and then go into Wellington and have the final moment.
Well,
with him.
it completes Kenny's character arc
Yeah.
perfectly. Like, it redeems him for all the bad stuff he's done.
Yeah.
It makes this one final sacrifice for this really selflessly for the sake of Clem. So this is the one that makes the most character sense, I
Man.
think. Going off with Kenny into the wilderness actually is kind of bizarre.
Seems foolish.
Yeah, like how are they going to survive? They have a
Ill-advised.
2-day-old baby.
2-day-old baby.
I think it's 15 months, guys.
I know. I think 15-month-olds are like walking.
Spoken like a true
I don't know how
dad.
many kids you have, but
We don't know how much time happened during that loading screen. It could have been
it
weeks.
was slow.
They don't have to look at you. Don't feel ashamed at what they put you through.
Okay. Okay, we'll stay. We'll stay.
This is the right decision. Okay, right. When he's grown, you tell him about his mommy and his daddy and all the people who tried to keep him safe. You tell him, okay? He deserves to know. I got oh, here. Take this. When he's old enough, you make him wear it.
There's Kenny's hat.
I need one of those.
Hey, they're in the collector's edition.
I know this.
Hey.
We've all been talking about it.
I'm looking.
We're pressuring some
around.
skybound people to the back of the room into nodding aggressively at Gavin. It's working.
Yeah, fine, sure.
Take my earmuffs.
Yeah, give Kenny the earmuffs. Surely you have more earmuffs.
Put it
than
over
there.
one eye.
That'd be badass.
Oh, I hope someone draws that. That's too good.
Oh man, don't waste this. Is this like the Saving Private Ryan earned this?
That's right.
Wilson!
Oh,
man.
so sad.
I only got one eye.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite parts. So I enjoyed working on episode 1 of season 2, and there was a lot of fun stuff that was cool to do. And then actually getting to sort of get back to working with the cinematics and the character performance here on this final moment was like the walk away, the Kenny walk away beat was like really fun to work on. It's just like
it's really good stuff.
It really
Slow
is.
walking out of this
stopping.
game.
Is he gonna turn?
Slow walking out of this game.
Oh,
Nope.
man.
I said I wouldn't turn around.
Yeah. Plus, I only
that's
got one eye.
If I remember correctly, Pierre wrote this
You have
scene
to turn
really
full
quickly.
around, like
I remember when the
180,
ending
we-
suddenly came
full
into
180.
existence
Yeah.
It
almost
was.
instantly.
I honestly, it might have been
and then,
like
like-
a week.
I, like,
where it was
blinked
just
and they
like-
were suddenly,
it was
oh, there's
written,
4
and then
ending
we
scenes.
built it. It was just yeah.
Man.
Meanwhile, after the game,
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Next
There's
time
just
on-
stats now.
you did it.
Well, that was a light-hearted ending.
That's
What a
the
fun video game.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
feels
what a
so
fun day.
good.
What a nice thing
Yeah.
what a nice thing for people to enjoy. What a happy story. Everything works out for everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super good.
Thank you to Robert Kirkman for letting him tell stories in his world.
Yes.
For letting us fart around
For
in your
creating
universe.
this universe.
Yeah, so these stats are less balanced.
49.1. Nice. I'm just under 50%. I'll take it.
Yeah. I remember
That
we were
one being
bummed.
that one being that 50-50 is really nice. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
that is good.
Yeah.
The
was the
in the end,
idea.
who are you with? We were hoping it would be like way more people with walking away or letting Kenny walk away because we like that ending. but-
didn't protect the
Oh,
baby?
AJ and Wellington.
I don't think that one's really well messaged as a choice. Protect
It's
the
not.
baby. It's like
It's
click on the
not.
baby
Yeah,
or not.
it's-
I
right.
remember
Yeah,
that one
exactly.
being
It's not
confusing.
clear that
You click on like one pip or the other pip.
Yeah.
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 I think
And
we were
you're-
stretching to get a big 5.
And even then, you're kind of like,
Yeah, it was.
What is that thing on the ground? Am I going to click on the rubble?
It's
Oh,
wiggling.
It's a baby.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
Come in and pick it up.
Yeah.
It might be something I can craft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can build something.
I'll make a new cloak for Clementine.
Yeah.
There
I'm gonna
was
make a pickaxe.
Kent just pointed out right before of the
Yeah,
Derek,
Oh, and Pink is in there too.
Derek, Jared, everybody.
Look at all these champions.
These are
these
a bunch
fine,
of
fine
champions.
Latino.
Latino!
So many people.
yeah.
Eric
yeah,
Parsons!
Yeah.
Some of them are still
Crazy.
around at the end of Telltale. So.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I was
There's
gonna say,
DRM.
DRM,
Yeah.
David Reed Monroe. We think this might. He always had this plan every season of every game we made of wanting the menu to change slightly to be thematically relevant to each episode. And we just pointed out at the end, there's power lines in the pause menu. So this might have been the one win he got on the UI side. of,
That's
making
awesome.
that dream happen. So, right on.
Good for him.
Hey,
Oh,
look,
hey,
it's
Julian.
you.
Julian.
It's you.
Yay, Connor
Studio
Stubb.
Jory.
Tim
Yeah,
Galida.
Tim. That's right. Tim was engineer. Jory was in Norway
Oh,
for
Timmy.
most of that.
Why
We've
is
got a
it-
special
That's how
credit.
we-
It's
yeah,
why
performed
does
by
Scott
Scott
say
Porter.
it's performed by like the rest of us?
He is very cool.
I didn't perform any of that shit.
Yeah, no, I
I
just
just showed up and said
Which is
those
how it
words.
is for
Wasn't
us.
performing.
just hanging out?
That's
yeah.
when Colin was here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Dennis again!
Yay.
And there he is again!
Wait, what?
Oh my god.
Wait,
What
you
the
did
hell?
a lot of
Look at all those
jobs.
credits.
Oh my
Kaufman showed up like
He
3
gets,
times.
he gets
Yeah.
paid every time.
Okay.
He
I
gets
was
paid every time he
Richard,
shows up.
too.
I got my
Love
associate
Richard.
producer salary and my chore salary and my.
Directing
Mary.
salary. I got all of them. He just keeps double dipping, triple dipping, quadruple dipping.
There's Rhoda.
Mark
Barbalack.
Mark Barbalack.
I guess you didn't do it then.
That's how we know we recorded Barbalack for a voice in the final season.
Elisa
He does
Tudor.
some goons.
It's good. It's full circle.
Yeah.
I mean, truly.
And we were actually in the studio for that one, so that makes it like the last ever in studio recording for one of these things.
Oh
too.
wow! I
Nice.
thanked
Hey,
my
Kristen
wife.
Latino's in
Oh,
this.
This is
wow.
when we were just
Yes.
dating.
Oh, that's funny.
She
That was
deserved
bold
it.
of you.
Yeah, I was probably doing it as like a pro move, trying to be like, check it out, put you in the credits, and she was like, I don't like video games, so it doesn't matter to
I'm
me.
sick of you working on games, damn it. Why don't you
Yeah.
just come home sometime?
Yay.
All right, I think
that was
that's it.
awesome.
Thanks for playing and listening to us talk, and we appreciate the support and appreciate your interest and involvement.
Thanks for sticking through this season. I know it was dark, but I think there was some positive things that came out of it and some cool moments. So sticking through to the end, much appreciated.
Yeah, I would echo that. You know, all of these situations that we had to deal with, we wouldn't have been in if there weren't people. But it really was, it was a very unique time, and it was great to be a part of it. So
Yeah, our arguments about creative content were because everyone cared so much.
Exactly.
So it was
Yeah,
just-
exactly.
It was a melting pot of thousands
Exactly.
of people caring.
We
and
couldn't
stuff.
turn off the
Yeah,
care.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all I've got. Thank you. Thank you.